Hey guys, Rick here. I'm so frustrated right now. It's not even funny. Um, so, have you seen from my last video? I was putting together the new push button panel, and I got as far as putting in the buttons, and everything was working. Everything was fine. So now it's time to actually put in the LEDs that correspond with those buttons, so I can tell um, if the track is thrown or not. Um, Total disaster. Total disaster. The panel was. I thought it was going to be bigger. Is even though it's bigger than the first one that I had the disaster with, it's still a nightmare. Everything is so cramped together. It was hard to solder. I taped a total of 2 hours. 2 hours of work, and it was just all soldering. In between my phone ringing, the dog barking, there was really nothing much for me to talk about or explain. So, out of the hour and a half footage that I taped, it all comes down to 2 minutes. 2 minutes of an explanation of what I did, and that's really all there is to it. So, here's that 2 minute clip. What I did is I hot glued two pieces of rail to the outside of this board, and I'm just using that as kind of like a bus for the positive leg of my LEDs. So now all I have to do is solder on a single cable and then take that back to my 12 volt sub bus that's underneath of the layout to put positive power into all of these LEDs. And then I coupled together all of the negative leads onto these LEDs so that when one lights up, so does the other. So on the crossovers here, we've got 4 of them. All I need to do now is solder on 2 wires, one to each side, and take that back to one of the tortoises. I don't need both, just need one. So I'll have 4 tortoises that I'll be using the single pole double throw switch on. And what I'll do is I'll get another wire very similar to what I did here for the buttons. I'll get a wire underneath the layout and I'll daisy chain one tortoise from each crossover and I'll solder that negative lead into either 4 or 5 on the tortoise, because these two here are the 2 inputs. So if you've got your power to your tortoise is pin 1 and pin 8, 2, 3, and 4 is one single pole double throw switch, and 4, 5, and 6. No, I'm sorry, 5, 6, and 7 is another. So the 2 middle ones, pin 4 and pin 5, is the input. So that's where that negative cable will go. And then either 2 or 3 or 6 or 7 is where the output would go. And that would go to either one or the other leg of the LED. What that means is when this tortoise switches, it's going to send that negative signal either over to this side and light up red or this side and light up green. Very simple. So that's it. All I did was take the LEDs. I drilled holes in the board where they needed to go. I took the LEDs because the button sits in the middle, and there's an LED on one side and an LED on the other. I had to take the legs of the LED and wrap them around the button so they connected on both sides. So each LED kind of looks like that, and then they connect, and I soldered them together. I don't know how else to explain that in any other easier way. So now all I have to do is connect a wire to each one of those sides and then get it back. So I'm going to take a break for a little bit. I got to get away from this, otherwise I'm going to cause myself more damage. So I'll post another video as soon as I get back to doing all that electrical. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you watching. As always, rail riders, ride these rails together. I'll see you.